I'm showing this instead of the album cover because the album cover is explicit. So, yeah. Wait, I'm recording this? Oh, I was just picking my teeth with a um with a with a guitar pick. Well, I guess since I'm already recording, I might as well film a video. All right, let's get into it. Today we're talking Stan Atlantic, one of the best female-fronted pop punk bands in pretty much the history, and definitely the best modern pop punk bands, like, or female-fronted, I mean, and probably one of my favorite actually bands at the moment. And also, I'm just gonna mention, as you can see right here, I have a OK shirt as it is, whatever. And I know I was talking crap about this album during my when it made it to the top 10 or 15 in top 100 pop punk albums. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. I do love this album. I love this band. I just don't think they belong in top 10. Okay, and I got this for on sale, so that's why I bought it. And also, it just looks cool. I like the album cover. Um, all right. Okay. So Stan Atlantic, they're from Australia. They're one of the only Australian pop punk bands I listen to. I listen to a couple UK bands and stuff, but I feel like with Stan Atlantic, I didn't know that they were Australian until like I kind of like looked them up like a while ago. Um, or I saw like an interview, and like because you can't really tell in their music, but I mean whatever. But they kind of gained like their original support with an independent EP and some demos under two different names. They had two different names before Stan Atlantic, What It's Worth and Breakaway. That was from 2013 to 2000, I believe 15, when they released their demos and EP. But I can't find that on Spotify or anywhere. I can't really find it. I've tried. If someone that doesn't actually know me and is just watching this video and they know about Stan Atlantic, tell me where to find their early stuff. But after that, they decided they got signed on with Rude Records, which is I've never really heard of it, but it's fine. I'm sure it's good, and they ended up like getting pretty popular by after they released their first EP in 2017. Originally, they released "Coffee at Midnight," and then they released an EP after that, and that got them pretty much to national fame rather than just local Australian, or not local necessarily, but Australian support. And yeah, and that's just kind of how they started out. And then right now they have over 405,000 listeners on Spotify, which is quite a bit. Probably, definitely in like the top like rankings of big modern pop punk bands. Like I'm pretty sure State Champs have around 700,000, so that's really not that different. And the story so far probably has, I believe, like probably I don't know 800,000, and then Neck Deep of course has like I don't know 100 like a million probably. Uh, but that's just modern pop punk. I'm just talking about modern pop punk. I'm not talking about like older stuff because there's a lot of older pop punk bands that have a lot more with them or have a lot more listeners on Spotify. But yeah, and they're just a band that is like really admired nowadays by a lot of people who like not necessarily people who like pop punk because it's very questionable whether they're pop punk. For me, I consider them to be pop punk slash alternative, like alternative pop punk because they have an alternative sound to them. So that's what I consider that's what I would consider them to be, but they're still pop punk. And yeah, I'll talk maybe I'll talk more about that later. But now we're gonna rank the songs. My favorite song on this album is definitely 100% the first song on the album, which is Lavender Bones, and I feel like this song really puts a good start to the album. For me, for an album, I usually listening to it for the first time. I listen to it in order, So if I click, I click play, I hear a really catchy thing start playing, I'm gonna be like, all right, okay. So that's my personal belief. You should put your best song in the front, and that's what Stan Atlantic did. They were smart, because it has a really catchy beginning, like intro, and then it goes into the song, and the song is just a vibe. It's just straight. And then number two is "Lost My Cool," which that's a really big song for me. A song that I think is really, it's just a really good song, and also the lyrical content is like this album was really a breakthrough point for the lead singer. The lead singer is Bonnie. Her name is Bonnie Fraser, and I'm not gonna lie, she was my first crush that's over 20 years old. Okay, anyways, why am I talking about this? Okay, and then she's talking about. She says, "Your words are full of shit. Why don't you swallow it?" Which sounds disgusting, but I think what she means by that is just like you're talking out of your butt all the time. Like your words are just full of crap. And when she says, "Why don't you swallow it?" I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe it means like that it's gonna come back to hit you. I'm not really entirely sure. But and then number three, "Skinny Dipping," which is the name of the album. It's the song that they named the album after. It's kind of, not gonna lie, the lyrical content is off, but the song is a bop. It's a complete bop. It's really good. It's not, definitely not one of their more. It's definitely a little bit down on the pop punk side, but overall I'd say it's really good. And then number four, "Speak Slow." It's just a really good song, and it has a good it has a pop punk feel to it, and it's just overall a solid song. And yeah. And then number five, "Roses," which is the last song on the album. I feel like it really definitely puts a good like ending on the album. Or no, it has a nice vibe to it that you should definitely put at the closing part of the album. And then number six is "Bullfrog." This song is a little bit more on the alternative side, especially with the beginning. The beginning has like a sort of like a filter where it's like her voice, but it's like there's multiple things on it. It's like there's multiple versions of her singing it. I don't really know how to explain it. And it kind of just has like something that you would hear on like an alternative music station. But then after that beginning part, it goes into a pop punk sort of like almost like "Between You and Me" like sounding sort of guitar solo. But then the rest of the song is kind of like just more alternative. But I think it's a good song. It's a really good song. And then number seven is "Clay." That's the second to last song on the album. It starts off really solid with like a high tuned guitar. It has just a nice strumming pattern, and she just like sings really well, like "Oh, I'm as vibrant as an ashtray," and it's just a good song, and I feel like it has a part of it. It definitely sounds unlike anything else on the album. Not saying that, because every song on this album is very different. Unlike some other bands. Neck deep. This story so far. Man overboard. It's not as repetitive as a lot of other pop punk bands, which is why I really appreciate Stan Atlantic a lot. And then number eight, "Burn in the Afterthought." It's a bit more mellow. We're getting to more mellow. There's three songs on this album that are more mellow, but they eventually get progressive, obviously. So number eight is "Burn in the Afterthought." That song is kind of a little bit more mellow, but I feel like it's really good because it has sort of like where she's singing slow, like she's singing the words slow, but everything else in the background is like faster. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like "Burn in the afterthought. It's all I've got left to give in to." And she kind of sings it slowly, but the guitar, I don't know, but the guitar in the background is a little bit more fast, which I feel like that puts it just makes the song better. I don't really know how to explain it. Number nine is "Cigarette Kiss," which is, again, it starts off like softer, but then it gets like, "It's just a cigarette kiss," and then it starts going into some sort of like, again, I feel like their guitar solos I can really relate to "Between You and Me," because I don't know. I just do. Like if you know Twice Shy by Between You and Me, it has like a very like fast sort of like thing, and I feel like that's how I can relate a lot of songs on this album to that song. And same thing with I'm not. I need to stop talking about other albums. Okay, sorry. And then number 10, which is the last song. There's only 10 songs in this album. Is Toothpick. Not a big fan of the song because it doesn't get progressive at all. It just kind of is like it's just acoustic guitar. She wrote it by herself. She wrote most of the songs by herself. Some other songs she didn't write, but most of the songs she wrote. And I don't have anything against it. It just it never progresses, which I feel like a song should. This album, as I was saying earlier, it definitely was a breakthrough point for Bonnie to like lyrical wise, because before on their EP under the name Stan Atlantic, it just didn't have good lyrical content. It was just like obviously their breakthrough song as Stan Atlantic was Coffee at Midnight, which wasn't really it was just about coffee at midnight. What didn't have anything else to it. It was just kind of a song about that. But I feel like this album really stood out lyrical wise because it was more about not necessarily relationships. Obviously, what some of the songs were about relationships, but just like herself, and it was just more her. They have a new album that's going to come out this year in 2020 called Pink Elephant, and I'm looking forward to it. It's coming out very soon. They've released 5 songs from the album so far. Just a day ago, they released Jurassic Park, and I feel like that song is really good. Check out that song, because that's like a really good song. And I'm really hoping that this album is going to be as good as Skinny Dipping. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you did watch this was a bit longer. I was trying to cut it to 10 minutes, but I didn't. Dang it. Bye, guys.